Good afternoon, Melissa.
Good afternoon to you.
Can you quickly introduce the name of your business, the genres you work in, and where you are?
Yes, my name is Melissa Harden. I'm out of Mattoon, Illinois. My business name is Melissa M. Harden at Studio 21. 21 because that's part of my address.
And what specific genres do you work in most now?
High school seniors are my absolute favorite, but I also do headshots, and I have tweens, like I have VIP program and things like that for tweens and high schoolers. So yeah, but high schoolers are my absolute top dogs.
Yeah. So how did you get into photography in general and then like specializing in what you do now?
Sure. So right after high school, I decided to go to our local community college, but I was weighing between being a police officer or or a photographer, and the photography just kept coming back to me, so I decided to go for that. But I just kind of plated that for a while and didn't do anything. I was more of a hobby photographer. And then a friend of mine asked if I would take pictures at her daughter's graduation party and do like a photo booth. That lit a fire, absolute fire. So I started, it's a funny name, but I started Happy Shack Photo Booth. And so believe it or not, I started my business out of nursing homes. I honestly did. Yeah, it was so much fun. I was a homeschooling mom, and I thought, what a perfect opportunity. And I just called all of the nursing homes and within an hour of my home and said, hey, we can do headshots, and you can send those nice photographs to the family, and it can be an obituary picture. You're going to need those.
Right. Everyone will. Yeah.
Yeah. And then with the feather boas and the hats and everything, those pictures can be used on the bulletin boards in their marketing material. They loved it. I was super cheap because I didn't know what I was doing.
Sure.
And I just really got to learn lighting, posing. I mean, even some of my clients were in beds. I had to work around every type of scenario. So that's how it got started. But then a friend asked, hey, no. I noticed a young girl had some really awful senior pictures. I mean, blazing sun, eyes were squinting. You could barely see her because she blended in with the background. It was horrible. So I called her mom. I said, well, let's do some pictures. I won't charge you a thing. And we had so much fun. And I just got a lot of really good feedback from those and just started doing seniors. So yeah.
That's amazing.
Kind of a strange journey, but it's fun.
But you're right. I mean, like going into those homes and having to figure out how to work with the lighting and the situations and stuff, like that's such good training you could use on anything.
It was good training for me. For my children that were young, they were traumatized. we had a boom box to play Frank Sinatra, and somebody in a wheelchair just strolled by and grabbed it, and she's going with one leg, pushing herself, and my son's like, Mom, take it. I said, honey, she's not getting far. We'll get it and it'll be okay.
Oh my gosh, what a fun thing to do. Yeah. Wow, that's so cool. Well, okay. So what advice would you give somebody if they were looking for a high school senior photographer or a headshot photographer, coming from the photography world and kind of knowing the ins and outs? What advice would you give to someone in that situation?
Sure. Well, for a high school senior, you don't necessarily have to look for someone that matches your dream photo shoot. If you look at their website and you can see there's talent there's ability, and they're sharp, and you love the way those look, even though that's not exactly what you want. If you think they can pivot what they're doing to fulfill your dreams, then you can call them up and interview them, ask them, hey, are you comfortable doing this? And if they're not, then you might want to call somebody else. But
sure. And
headshots, they're a different monster because you really need to know lighting. Your photographer has to know lighting and posing, because if you're just going to sit there, and if you look at their headshots and you see junk under the chin, or, you know, their dark circles under the eyes, that photographer doesn't know what they're doing. So they definitely have to know lighting and posing for sure. And you will know that. You will know that you like those photos. If they don't have a website, and that's a red flag as well. They need to have a portfolio for you to be able to judge that.
That's good advice. Have you ever had any like funny or embarrassing experiences during photo shoots?
Absolutely. Too many to remember. But one was, so we were meeting at an abandoned building, which it was totally legal. It wasn't like I was breaking into it. I got the keys for it from the owner, but it was a nursing home that was no longer in use. And so I had warned my client and her mom that was there, you know, hey, we're going to use a smoke machine. The smoke alarms are going to go off. Okay. And not only that, the doors are magnetic, electromagnetic.
Oh, no.
So they shut all the wings off. And so I'm just telling you, it's going to happen. And you're right there by the door. You just run forward. Okay. So then I forgot a light at home, and we weren't too far. So I had my son who was videoing. I said, hey, go home and grab that light, come back. He didn't get that. He didn't get the memo. He didn't hear that all this was going to happen.
Oh, no.
So here we are. He comes back with the light. We get everything going. He's whooshing the smoke everywhere. And all of a sudden, bonk, bonk, bonk. Here goes everything. The door slams shut, and he just grabs all the equipment that he can, and he starts running, and we're all just standing there laughing at him. But honestly, it made for the best stories. And you know, that high school senior is going to look at her photos and go, holy cow, this is what happened. I had the best time, and I got to laugh at her son.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I was looking through your portfolio on your website, and it's so interesting how every single photo is so different from the one before, as far as the location and the poses and the different things that you try. I mean, I would imagine that would be really appealing, like you said, to a senior who's looking and saying, well, I have this idea in my head and I want to try this really crazy thing, but I don't know if this person can pull it off. Right. And seeing like all the different things that you do. I mean, can you talk about just kind of like your senior experience in general and how it might be different?
Absolutely. I call my senior experience a production, because we do hair and makeup, we do, well, lights, fog, you know, have the whole thing going. I have my son is a videographer, so he's going around with this great big rig, and there are times that I have an assistant. It's kind of touch and go, but you know, somebody to make sure that zippers are zipped, you know, there's no gunk, nothing on the teeth, and you know, hair is beautiful, or the guy's got you know, we just make sure that everything is as perfect as possible. There's always going to be a hiccup or something, but also I have access to salvage yards that nobody else has, you know. Gosh, I have all kinds of businesses that are like, please take pictures over here.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Know, cars. I even have, well, the next senior that I'm doing, it's actually, he wanted an explosion. And so he's like, I want to be the good guy that walks away, who just, you know, did off, you know, I don't want to be graphic here, but you know, it's all an illusion. So don't think we hurt anybody. So I'm making that happen. So I found somebody with land, and I talked to the fire chief, and we've got it all planned out so it's as safe as possible. But if you dream it, I'm going to make sure it happens, but in a safe way, but it's going to be quite the experience.
Sure. And like, that's such an appeal to that demographic, right? Like they all want to be doing something like bigger and better and different than everything that they see on social media, you know, and YouTube and all this stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I would imagine as a senior, when I was a senior, that would have sounded absolutely amazing. I would have come to you with all these ridiculous ideas.
Well, I always say boring is impossible here. You know, I don't lean you on a tree unless that's what you want. If you want to lean on a tree, I can do that.
But that's what, I mean, it's so important, especially in a world where there are so many photographers people can go to now, to really set yourself apart and, you know, show them why they want to value you more than why they might value someone else down the road doing those leaning on the tree photos, you know, or whatever, which again, To each their own, but
Absolutely. Yeah, for
being
sure.
like different that other people aren't doing and they need to come to you for, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, where can people find you on social media, or what's your website?
Yeah, sure. MelissaMHarden.com. That's Harden with an E. And yeah, that's also across the board on social medias. My name, Melissa M. Harden. So yeah, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and yeah, I would love to be a TikToker. I just haven't found the time to learn all the dance moves and that.
I
I
know.
need to find a teenager that will gladly help me in that area.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a blast.